Alright guys, we're back with the next set of matches for the new generation era of WWE 2K14's 30 Years of WrestleMania mode, so I'll put the full match list in the video description, but let's dive straight into the screenshots. Starting out the new generation era, we'll have WrestleMania 10 as Bret Hart gets a WrestleMania rematch against Yokozuna for his WWF Championship. Now, there's not a lot to point out in regards to both superstars as the attires are the same as WrestleMania 9, but there are a few other talking points. Firstly, this event took place in Madison Square Garden, so the entrance that you see behind the ring is the one that was actually used, but that could be down to 2K not having a license to use the actual Madison Square Garden name and its likeness. They may also have tried to make up for this by having a smaller entrance on the ramp, but so far we've had no footage of the actual entrance in the game. Secondly, speaking of no footage, Mr. Fuji was again ringside for this match, as was Jim Cornette, who actually got involved by pulling out the special guest referee, so there may be a slim chance he could be included as he is a free agent and he was featured recently on WWE.com earlier this week, but personally I think they'll probably go without him. One person you can't go without though is the special guest referee, Rowdy Roddy Piper. So again, that's another huge clue that Piper is in the game, and it explains his absence from the WrestleMania roster reveal as he doesn't actually have a chosen match to play in the mode. Staying with WrestleMania 10, and we'll have another match that has already been confirmed as Ramon takes on Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental Championship, which, if you're wondering why there's two belts, it's because Razor was the current champion after Shawn Michaels was stripped of the title due to absence, so when he returned he had his own Intercontinental title as he claimed that he was still the champion because he never actually lost the title. As for the screenshot, both attires look great and I'm really happy with how Razor's model has turned out, and it's good to see that the classic red ladder has been included, so that keeps things historically correct. Moving on to WrestleMania 11 and sticking with Shawn Michaels as he takes on Big Daddy Cool Diesel, who was actually accompanied to the ring by Pamela Anderson at the show, but so far it doesn't look like we'll be seeing any celebrities included in the game aside from video packages. One person we may see though is Psycho Sid, who was involved in this match as the bodyguard of Shawn Michaels, distracting the referee ironically after Michaels had hit Sweet Chin Music and attempted a pinfall. Staying with WrestleMania 11, and this event also has a second match as we get to take control of the Undertaker for the first time as he goes one-on-one with King Kong Bundy, who was the fourth of his WrestleMania opponents to fall victim to the streak. As with the majority of matches back then, this match too had plenty going on at ringside. Firstly with managers, as the Undertaker had Paul Bearer in his corner and Bundy had Ted DiBiase, who also had Karma interfere and steal the urn. So due to his involvement, he's another superstar that could be included as this list just keeps on growing. One person I don't think we'll see however is the special guest referee for this match, Major League Baseball umpire Larry Young. Switching to WrestleMania 12, and we'll have Shawn Michaels taking on Bret Hart in a 60-minute Iron Man match for the WWF Championship. Straight away you'll notice that Michaels now has a new classic model as we move away from his retro model to this classic look, which is used until the later stages of his career. Meanwhile, Bret Hart has made the transition from pink to black tights, which is likely just down to superstar threads. Also changing attire is the referee, who now has a black and white striped shirt with the classic logo. Speaking of shirts, how about these two new shirts that confirm both Ravishing Rick Rude and Hacksaw Jim Duggan? So far we haven't seen either announced for the game, but as with Piper, these shirts would suggest that they are in, possibly as DLC. Back to the match though, and again Michaels had a manager in the form of Jose Lothario, but he's someone that I would not expect to be in the game. I can tell you though that there is an achievement related to this match, and it says you unlock the sudden death achievement for 15G if you tie the match and go into overtime, as the original match finished 0-0 with Gorilla Monsoon ordering sudden death overtime to crown a winner, leading to Michaels getting the victory. Again, sticking with WrestleMania 12, we'll once again have a second match with us taking control of the Undertaker for the second time to take on Big Daddy Cool Diesel, who was actually the fifth victim of the streak. As you can see here, the arena entrance hasn't changed too much compared with WrestleMania 11, but we can see the WrestleMania logo on the ring map much clearer, which was actually in the last screenshot, but it was hard to see because of the angle. Apart from that, both attires look good, especially Diesel's, which comes complete with Big D on the front, which I'm not too sure if it just stands for Diesel, or if it alludes to the fact that he has a big dick. Moving on to WrestleMania 13, and we'll have Bret Hart taking on Stone Cold Steve Austin in a submission match, but the first thing noticeable here is the referee. Why? Because he's not Ken Shamrock, who was the special guest referee in this match. Now, this is a surprise to me after Shamrock was in the game last year, so I don't know why they didn't decide to include him this year, but by leaving him out it does cast doubts on some of the other names mentioned that were included in some of the matches at ringside or as guest referees. Going back to the match though, and we'll have Bret Hart applying the sharpshooter to Austin, which is actually one of the classic moments from this match when you look back at it, except that the iconic images of Austin in the sharpshooter were shown from the other side and showed Austin's face dripping with blood, something that I would expect to be turned off in WrestleMania mode by default, but it should be able to be turned on just like it was in Attitude mode last year. So that's all of the matches listed for the new Generation Chapter of 30 Years of WrestleMania, so let me know what you think of these in the comments below, and I'll be back again tomorrow at 3 PM to reveal the match list for the Attitude Era chapter. So until then, I hope you liked the video and thanks for taking the time to watch.